Okay, listen, you're not going to believe what happened last night, so let me just tell you the whole thing from the top. It's 11:47 p.m. Most of the basketball world is asleep. And somewhere in a quiet little room, a guy named Pelinka does something that, I swear, should get taught in business schools as a cautionary tale. In 35 minutes less time than it takes you to watch an episode of your favorite sitcom, this man signs away the next decade of the Lakers. 4 players. 4 contracts. Not one rookie discount in the bunch. And by the time the sun comes up, nobody's even arguing about whether it's good or bad anymore. They're arguing about whether this guy actually understands what a player option even is. So stay with me here, because by the end of this, you're going to see exactly how a front office can get every single little detail half right and somehow still end up with a mess that makes you want to scream into a pillow. So picture the scene with me. It's late. It's dead quiet. And in this war room, 4 deals get locked in almost back to back to back to back. First one, they trade for Walker Kessler, this genuinely elite defensive big man, and it costs them 2 future first-round picks plus 2 pick swaps. I'll come back to why that number matters in a second. Second, they sign a 3-and-D wing to 4 years, $60 million. Third, they lock up this offense-first, defense-optional big man for 4 years, $52 million. And get this, they throw in a player option on top. And fourth, they bring in an electric little scoring guard on a 2-year deal. Now here's the thing, if you showed me any one of these moves by itself, I'd shrug and say, fine, that's defensible. That's actually the trap of the whole night. Each piece alone looks fine. It's only when you step back and look at the whole board together, kind of like watching someone hand away their queen in chess for no reason, that you start going, wait, what exactly are they building here? Let's start with the shiny one, the one everybody's talking about, Kessler. And look, on paper, this looks like an absolute steal. 7 feet tall, barefoot, wingspan like something out of a video game character creator. Last season, he played heavy minutes. He held guys to something like 11% below their expected shooting at the rim. Some people would tell you he's the second best rim protector in the entire league behind Wembanyama. And he's not just standing there either. He can hedge on a pick and roll, recover, even switch onto a guard sometimes. This isn't some plodding traffic cone under the basket. So why does something feel off to me? Here's the twist, and this is important. Individual talent and actual team impact are 2 completely different things. When you dig into his real defensive impact numbers, not just his measurements, but how much he's actually swung, winning the story gets a lot quieter. Over the last 3 years, he's only outpaced about 81% of the league. That's good. That is not worth 2 firsts and 2 swaps good. And you want to know why the gap exists? Because this guy spent his whole career on a team that was by design one of the worst defensive rosters in the sport, dead last, second to last in defensive efficiency, 3 years running. No perimeter stopper anywhere. Forwards who couldn't move their feet. A backcourt that couldn't guard a parked car. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. The roster he's walking into right now has almost that exact same hole in it. So go ahead. Take a guess who's actually starting at power forward next season on this team. I'll wait, because I promise you, every single name you could throw out comes with a giant asterisk attached to it. And that question, who's going to guard the other team's best forward, is going to come back and haunt this whole story. So just tuck that one away for now. Now let's talk price tag. Because this is where it stops being questionable fit and starts being genuinely baffling. 2 first-round picks, 2 pick swaps. For comparison, when people were floating trade packages for an actual all-NBA wing like Jaylen Brown, the number being thrown around was just 2 firsts. Full stop. And the guy they just gave all that up for has never played one single playoff game. Not one. Hasn't even played in what you'd call a real high-stakes, high-intensity game. because his old team's been rebuilding for years. And here's the part that really stings: if this exact trade had happened 2 or 3 years earlier, while he was still cheap on his rookie deal, I'd call it a steal. Elite production at a discount, that's the most valuable thing in this whole league. Instead, they waited until the exact moment the discount expired. And now they're stuck immediately re-signing him for 4 years and $130 million. All of the risk, none of the discount. It's like standing in line for hours for a limited sneaker drop and then just paying full retail anyway once you get to the register. And the twist that makes it worse? The team on the other side didn't even take back one bad contract in return. Nothing got cleared off the books. They just handed over premium future picks and got nothing else back. And here's where the plot really thickens, because the next 2 moves don't just fail to fix the problem, they actually work against the very thing this expensive center was supposed to build. This power forward they signed off the bench. Genuinely a live offensive weapon, averaging over 18 points per 36 minutes the past 2 years, can shoot it, can finish through contact. But defensively, he's a sieve. No rim protection to speak of, limited length, limited mobility. Put him next to the 2-ball dominant stars on this team, and the defense doesn't just get worse, it might just collapse outright. Then there's the speedy scoring guard, genuinely electric, efficient, and on his own, that 2-year deal is a total bargain. But rewind about 18 months, and his old team ran an almost identical backcourt pairing next to this exact same new center, and it was a well-documented disaster defensively. And now, piece for piece, it's basically been recreated here. So here's the paradox sitting right at the center of this whole thing. They just spent a fortune building an elite defensive anchor, and then immediately surrounded him with 2 offense-only pieces that undercut the very identity he was brought in to create. You remember how that recent championship team built their whole thing around one dominant offensive engine? The blueprint wasn't complicated. Surround your star with tough, switchable 3-and-D guys. Defense first, shooting second, everything else a distant third. That blueprint was sitting right there for anyone to copy. And in 35 minutes, they built basically the exact opposite of it. So where does that leave us? Let's just rank this roster by salary and watch it fall apart right in front of us. The top few names fine, no complaints there. But starting from the 5th spot down, every single guy has a fatal flaw built in. One's offense only. One's defense only. One's just a liability the second he steps on the floor. Heck, even their other center can't share minutes with the new guy. And here's the question this whole story keeps circling back to: outside the top 3 names on this roster, is there even one guy left who'd start for a real contender? Take your time thinking about it. It's a shorter list than you'd guess, and that's before you even ask who's supposed to guard anybody. So, disaster or foundation? Honestly, probably both, and that's exactly why this is worth watching closely over the next few months. There's real elite talent sitting in this deal. But talent without any structure around it is just an expensive highlight reel. What actually happened last night wasn't 4 signings, it was a bet. A bet that raw star power alone can paper over the exact same structural cracks that sank a small rebuilding team for 3 straight years. Whether that bet pays off, or whether it becomes the cautionary tale everyone points back to, that's the story worth sticking around for.